Loma Linda, where no listener is ever left behind.
All right, all right, all right. We are here in 2026 with the new version of the Cool Veteran Hour. Changed the name, but it's still the same game, almost. So, I'm your host, Charles Whitehead of the Cool Veteran Hour, and today my guest will be Mr. Will Hill. He is in. Our subject today is going to be about AI and music and things like that. And of course, this is KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And be sure if you want to spread the word, have people call in and stream and watch us, listen to us live. So, without any further ado, we're gonna get going with this. Will, how you doing? Say hello to the audience. Will Hill.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I feel great. It was a great little ride out here from LA to the Inland Empire. I always like coming out here and visiting. I have a few friends out here, so it's always great to come out.
That's nice. You get to come out and then you were going somewhere after this. That's in the general area or no?
I actually had a game to go to for Community Christian College, but it got canceled. Coach Smith at Community Christian is a really good friend of mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're just going to kind of tell you a little bit how we, what the plans are for the future of the show here. It's 2026. And we may have some changes that we're going to have some changes. But the bottom line is, no matter where or what time we do this, we're going to always talk about veterans, music, and and the events, of course, and disabled people. Those are the topics of my show. So I am, if you don't know, I'm since 1987, I've been a wheelchair user, spinal cord injury, and so I have a long history of being involved with the disabled community. So these are people that I definitely have to support, as well as being a veteran, Army Reserve veteran, and dealing with veterans. And of course, the music is my passion, and this is where we're going to jump off today. It's going to be about the music, but it won't be all about nothing. All right, Will. So let's talk about this AI thing. Now, I know I've gotten involved with it. Will has been telling me things about this AI music for like a few years now. He was like,
Yes.
I've been digging in it, doing this. And, at first I was a little skeptical. I'm like, yeah, but how is that going to work? And it just last year, one of my main mentors at the end of the year, he called me up. And he's endorsing it, and I'm like, wow, okay. So, this is somebody who's talking about, he's in the music business, he's in the movie business, and he's done a lot of things with a lot of famous people. And so, when I hear this AI thing, and I've checked it out, Will got me really going on it now. So, to kind of tell me, yeah, I know. So, give us a little background on, what you do and what got you involved in.
Well, actually, when we talk about AI and AI music, I've actually been a prompt engineer for a bit over 3 years now, and I've worked with various platforms, some of your more popular ones from Midjourney, OpenAI's ChatGPT, and, music came into it in the early stages of AI, I want to say around 2020, 2019. The AI models that did music, Boomy and a few other ones, they wasn't that great. And a lot of the other things, the large language models like OpenAI's ChatGPT and Midjourney's image generator, they were far more advanced. But what I did learn with Midjourney and ChatGPT is keep an eye on it. It's not going to be a slow-paced thing. This thing accelerates like you wouldn't believe. So if you imagine that you sent your child to a music school in September and they were just barely playing, the wood flutes that we played with back in the day, and then come, March, April of the following year, they're doing Mozart and they're writing scores and I know it's incredible, but it has progressed that fast, and it's to the point now where it's just engulfed the music world. I don't think what a lot of people really understand, and this may be a shocker when it comes to statistics, but 90% of music that's ever been made, that's ever been recorded. Now, the recording industry has been around for how long? We're going on 100 years, right?
Forever, yes.
Yeah, forever. But 90% of all the music ever recorded in the history of music has been made in the last 2 years because of AI. So
That's a lot.
Spotify says there's 100,000 songs being released per day. That's per day. So it has actually overshadowed. And then people ask me, what's the biggest music label out there? And I tell them it's Suno, because they got millions of millions of users producing songs like you wouldn't believe. And, a lot of artists, I've lost a lot of artist friends, especially in the beginning, because I was like, let me produce something for you, because I'm a prompt engineer first. And so my sound is quite a bit different from what someone who's not a prompt engineer. So a lot of people listen and say, oh, that sounds like AI. That sounds like AI. Not my songs, but the songs.
Can you explain real quickly what a prompt engineer is, for the layman's?
A prompt engineer is just someone who has a decent mastery of the human language that they can use to communicate with the AI. And depending on how you communicate, hence the results, like anything else. And so a person can go in and make a 5-6 word prompt that says, give me a soul song with hip hop, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
Okay. And it'll give it to you either way. No matter what you give it, you could just type in hip hop and it'll give you a hip hop track. But generally, what it gives you back is really, really, really basic. Whereas if you use, like in the Suno, you get 1,000 characters to create any type of music you want. And if you're only using, 55 characters, then but if you use up as many of those characters as you can, then the AI gives you something back that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. And I'm not saying people that maybe only type a few words can't get that back, but the difference is a person can write a really short prompt, create a song, he don't like it, push, create again, it'll recreate 2 more songs. And I know guys that'll burn through credits after credits and do 100 tracks and get one song that they're looking for. Whereas a prompt engineer, if I do 3 iterations basically and I create 6 tracks, then it's hard to choose between anywhere from 3 to 5 of the tracks of which is best. And that's the difference in a prompt engineer, someone who just has a bit more mastery of the human language, so to speak.
Okay, now, because I've done this, I've actually taken lyrics and put them in Suno, lyrics that I have songs that, because I have a bunch of songs that have been written but not produced. I mean, I have music and everything. I've taken lyrics and put them into the AI, and of course, AI, for those who don't know, is artificial intelligence. But I'm putting it into Suno with the lyrics and said create, and I say, oh, give me a male voice, a female voice, or a combo, and harmonies, and I want this style, this style. I've come up with some good stuff, man,
Yeah.
just by, I'll get 2 or 3 versions, and I say, man, I said, what I can do is I can chop it up and piece them all together and make one great song out of that just by pushing some buttons.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
at a fraction. I mean, you can't even call that a fraction simply because, to produce a great song, it can be anywhere from 20 to 6 figures, 20K to 6 figures. My tracks cost me a nickel. I don't know how you can compare the two, especially if you're an artist and you're knowing that the song that you produce, you only get 15 cents if you're lucky
nickel
on the
or
dollar,
whatever. Yeah,
on the dollar, but all your production costs comes out of your 15%.
Right.
Now, what does that equal to? If your production cost is a few bucks, even if you put it in a dial and you added a few things and this, that, and the other, it's still it's a fraction. It's such a fraction you couldn't even really equate that, so to speak. So
I know it is. I mean, like I say, I've tried it and I've done that, and I'm like just totally impressed. As a matter of fact, I've taken some things, and I put Will told me about Suno, so and when my mentor called me, and told me about it, I went on and I was kind of messing with Suno. I went on Suno and I got the basic subscription. And Will was telling me, yeah, but they're gonna have like a
The pro
Black
version.
Friday,
The pro version, yeah. Black Friday Pro
Black-
version, yeah.
you know. And so I was like, okay. So I went on the on Suno, and they had the Black Friday Pro version, and I'm like, excuse me, and I'm like, you know, what do I get? 500 credits for the basic version. It goes to 2,500, and I'm like, and I, you know, I mean, I don't use the 5, but I'd rather have 25 and then mess around and do a little bit more. And so,
But also with the 25, you get to use their dial. So the person with the basics, they don't get to use the dial, you know. And then how many iterations you get to do a day, how many songs you get to do per day. And then
Yeah.
On the note before, when you were talking about, you know, prompting, you know, a lot of people don't understand that you can actually prompt inside your lyrics as well. So they give you 1,000 characters for your description of the song you want, and then they give you like 3,000 characters for the song. Now, I don't think there's any artist out there that can eat up 3,000 characters in writing a song. So I experimented with it and come to find out, oh my God, how much I can manipulate what the output would be just by labeling inside the lyrics themselves, hit a high note here, hit an E4, things of that nature that,
so this is something right there. What you're talking about is that I haven't learned yet because I've done this before. I put the lyrics in, I recorded it. I mean, I didn't, you know, I created a song. It came out, but then I said, oh, I want to change these lyrics, so I'll go change the lyrics, but the song doesn't recreate. So I'm
Right.
still on the, you know, trying to learn how to get it to replay or
Right.
recreate or
or change the lyrics within the song without changing the
music.
The music, yeah, you can
Yes.
do that in it as well, and that's a bit. I'm going to say it's. I'm not going to say it's a bit advanced. You just got to work with it. But I've been doing it for so long, and once again, coming from a background of a prompt engineer, first, I learned so many other things from other AIs in dealing with Suno or any of the other music AIs that I've dealt with. But you know, it's really like I can only equate it to like having an employee that you know that's a 6-figure employee. Like if you were hiring an assistant that you had to give them $100,000 a year for, what would you expect back? You would expect a lot back. Yeah. So, but here now we've dwindled that $100,000 a year employee down to $240 per year. That will still output, like at times when I've worked with some AIs, I know I'm doing the work of 5 people in 1/10 the time.
Right. Okay. Hey, let's you know, since you have a few songs or so that you sent that we can you know, maybe listen to one, you know. Yeah, tell us about one of the songs you you know, that you won, and then we'll play a you know, like a 3-minute version of it or whatever.
Okay. I have about 55 tracks on my YouTube page. If you look up Noah Tide, which is one of my AI artists on the label of Off the Deep End Records. One particular song I really like because of the arrangement on how creative. When they say AI is not creative, I'm like, when they say AI is not, it doesn't sound like a legit person. I'm like, no. But one of the songs I had on a show that was a review show, and the people there, one which was a producer, I won't name him, but he was a pretty high-end producer that everybody in the industry knows. And this song, it fooled him, you know, hook, line, and sinker. He couldn't even begin to understand that it was AI. But it was called "Baby Girl" by Noah Tide. And take a listen and see if you like the arrangement, and see if it.
All right, we're gonna go. This is Will Hill. He's the rightful owner. You know, so he owns the
Yes.
copyright. Baby Girl.
Baby Girl.
She walks barefoot on the shore, golden skin, sun-kissed some more. Lines like water, free and wild. Wish she'd look my smile. Oh, 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 oh. Ooh, baby, girl, do you see me? Am I just a wave lost in your sea? I'd give anything just to be more than a shadow in your breeze. She rides the morning tide alone, hair like fire, heart like stone, floating weightless every turn. She takes my breath, but she don't know my name just yet. Oh, 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 oh. Hey, baby, girl, do you see me? Am I just a wave lost in your sea? I'd give anything just to be more than a shadow in your breeze. Intimate, hushed, one day I'll find the words to say, but until then I'll drift away. Watch you ride, watch you shine. You'll never know you're on my mind. Oh, oh, oh. Hey, baby, girl, do you see me? Am I just a wave lost in your sea? I'd give anything just to be more than a shadow in your breeze. Hey, baby, girl, do you see me? Am I just a wave lost in your sea?
All right, we're back, and that was called Baby Girl.
Baby Girl by Noah Tide, a fictitious artist I came up with that
I know, I know, that's
just
crazy.
because his music is really based on a lot of ocean side. I love the ocean. I love ocean music. A few years back, I was at a beach in San Diego, and I turned on Pandora, and I found a station called Beach Bar Lounge. And I've been in love with that style of music ever since. It was, along the lines of, was it Robin Schultz remix, Waves, that Mr. Probes did, and music like that. And that's the great thing about AI music, is that you can create genres of your own that's a mixture of such. They have I don't know if did you look at the wheel, the Explorer
Oh, yeah,
wheel?
I go
Oh my
on the
God.
store, man. It's like,
It's incredible, is it not? Or what you can actually make a song out of. It's mind-boggling.
but here's what I don't understand about Explorer. So I go in there and I see a certain genre, and it's like, and they have the little thing where you can, click on it and it'll create, give you some samples.
Right.
But how do you transfer that over to when you go to create? You don't, or you just put
No.
in the type?
Now I'm gonna give you one of my secrets. I don't get all my stuff. I have over 7,000 tracks on Suno. I've only put out 55 or 60. I share none of them because I believe that my IP is my prompt. That if I can create a certain sound nobody else can create, that I don't give my prompt away, then it can't be duplicated, so to speak.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? So, but what I would do if I were you, if you use ChatGPT, start your own ChatGPT file of just music, right? Then what you do is you go into Suno Explorer and you copy. You know how you just right click and you'll pull it all the way down and copy all those different genres of copy and paste it into your ChatGPT. And then it can take 500 pages of information and do whatever you want to do with it. So you're saying, this is what's on the Explore page of Suno. I make this type of music. Pick out the ones within here that will, go into the lane that I want to be in musically.
Okay.
And then it'll start listing them on what would be what. And then that's your building block on starting to create great music is having that another assistant with your music assistant.
Right, right.
So great music, starts with language, and there's no greater language than an LLM. This thing has been trained on everything on the internet.
You got to tell people what these acronyms mean.
LLM, large language model, which
Yeah,
is
because this is, we're talking to people who don't. I mean, I'm learning myself. So
you know what? And that's the most amazing thing about this technology. When people ask me to describe it, and not just the music, just across the board AI, and I let them know, you have to go back probably to the discovery of fire and the invention of the wheel to understand its impact on our society. But the more astonishing thing than the technology itself is how many people don't know nothing about it. I'm like, you know what? An alien could land in New York and people will be like, what's for breakfast? We're so
I know
we're so tuned out on
what's happening,
what's
around
really
us.
happening,
Yeah.
especially how AI has helped in really great ways. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not pro AI or anti AI. I'm AI aware. And what that means is that, when people say, hey, what is that going to mean for our society? And I tell them, I keep it a buck. I said, it's the be all or it's the end all of mankind. It's getting ready to make us be all we can be, or it's going to, the fear that even the creators have of AI, they're afraid it could. They sent out warnings. This could end us all. And
that right there, what you just said, is what people, when they hear AI, they have this fear of, we're going to be and automation has been here for a long time anyway. And
yeah, but this is different.
it is different.
This is
but
different.
the people who don't know, they tend to think, oh yeah, this is evil coming to take over, and it's like things like that. But
well, when they say it's going to be the end of the world or all that, and I'm like, you know what? Mankind's doing their own part to bring it into this world.
Without AI,
AI might just push us over the edge, but
Yeah.
the incredible things that it's done in medicine, and I would offer to your viewers, go out to YouTube and watch a documentary called AlphaFold, and it's about protein folding. And basically, just without going deeply into it, they did 1 million years, technically 1 million years worth of work in a matter of a week in protein folding, because it basically takes a PhD person in biology, it takes them 5 years to do one fold. And there's over 200,000 folds out there. So times 5 years, that's 1 million years.
Yeah,
That's
a lot.
technically it's 1 million years. And AlphaFold from DeepMind actually did it within 2 weeks once the program was set off to go. And it helps in everything. And it's still helping. And it might help find a cure to cancer. It might help find a cure to Alzheimer's. I think it will one day.
Yeah.
And that one day might not be a long ways away,
I know. No, you're right. I think I'm gonna make mention of this, right?
Yeah.
Our engineer. Let me tell you what our engineer Joe. He said his friend who isn't a musician made a song in Suno, and he wanted Joe to use his creation as a jumping off point to create the song using Joe's own equipment instead of AI.
Right.
Joe said he told him, I said, man, there's no point. I can't make his song, your song as good as AI did. He said his song was great. I mean, it's and I can see it's like so these things are real.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's like it's like blowing up. That's just the way it is.
A few years ago, when I first started using Suno, I was at the beach down in Huntington Beach, Boca Chica Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my first time really trying it. But I'd already, like I said, I had already used ChatGPT, Midjourney, Sora, a few others. And all I did, I said, well, let me just see how good the AI is totally. I'm not going to even plug in any lyrics. But what I am going to do, I'm going to sit here and I'll describe my scene. And, the sun was setting and a few bonfires were being lit and there were some dolphins in and out of the water and, and seagulls flying over, your typical beach scene in the evening, beautiful California sunsets. And I just plugged that into the description of the song I want. And it came back with a track called Bosa Chica, which could be literally a theme song for a California visit or something like that to describe the beach. I mean, but from the moment I heard it, I brought my little large speaker down there with me. And the moment I heard it, you know how your whole view of it, if you know what a dolly zoom is, when everything just zooms out, like in the movies, and you go, oh my God. And that's exactly what I did. It was like, and I knew from the first few bars of that song that the music industry was in trouble. Because here I was using it for the first time and it was that good. And I'm like, well, this isn't even the best version of what this is going to be, because if you know anything about AI is not made to equal human anything.
Production,
It's production of any type. It's made to exceed it. What good is it if it's only going to be as good as us? How is that going to advance us? So I tell people now that, this technology, it's going to be about what type of music can you make with AI that you could not make as a human. So like we talked about the Explorer wheel. You can't pull a guy in that's playing a Romanian flute. I mean, you could, but at a very high expense if you could find him and find the best one. But imagine every instrument played in any country being played by its best musician, and you got them all under one roof. And then you can kind of see the enormity of it.
Yeah, that's that there are a lot of avenues with this whole music thing, and and what we'll do is, we'll highlight another song, and then when we come back, I want to talk about persona.
Personas, yes.
So people can understand what that is. You have a track you want to hear that.
I have a track. And here's the thing about what I believe AI music is going to do to music itself, especially on a personal level, that songs are going to become longer, I think. And a lot of people say, oh, no, people want songs to be short. No, record industry wants songs to be short because then they can play more songs and more advertising revenue. But songs themselves, if you've seen visual place where they do the cha-cha dance, they could cha-cha for 20 minutes off that same track. And then also, I think one of the limitations was lyrics could not keep up with rhythm, because you can do rhythm until whenever, but lyrics are generally limited. Now you have something that can keep up with you lyrically, yes. So I love creating genres. I created a bit of a genre that's kind of the Altons and kind of a couple of other things that I found that I just love. Once again, beach music. So I got a track called, I came up with this group name called the Rump Puppy Skaters. And, there's a track called Glass on the Beach that I just love this song. I don't know if anybody else would love it, but if you go to YouTube and you look at the video as well, Rump Puppy Skaters, Glass on the Beach, you'll kind of see why I love it so much. But the great thing about this song is that it sounds like it's what I call an perfect song, because it sounds like it's being recorded imperfectly, in a sense. Like these dudes did this in a garage band, or like Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska. It sounds like, it's done on a 4-track, but the music is amazing. And it takes more to create an imperfect track than it does with a perfect track with Suno. So
what's the name of the song again?
Glass on the Beach by the Rump Puppy Skaters.
The Rump Puppy Skaters.
It's a skate song.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna hear this track in a second, but where'd that come from? Rump Puppy Skaters?
I actually was coming up with a brand, and I'll talk to you about it after the track.
All right, we'll talk on the other side.
Funny how the broken things still catch the sun. You left your towel in the back of my truck.
Maybe we don't fix. Maybe we stay in pieces. But even broken things catch the light sometimes.
Glass on the beach, scattered and worn, still shining bright like the day we were torn. No clean break, no soft retreat, but then we glow like glass on the beach.
Wow. Okay. Glass on the beach.
Glass on the
You know,
beach.
right away, you know, the first thing I hear is that analog sound, and it's like, you know,
Yeah.
and artists, you know, especially like digital artists today, if they're old school, they try to, you know, man, you know, because I've heard some artists talk about, you know, the digital music. It's like it sounds too perfect.
Right.
You know,
right.
and that's, you know, you hear them all the time. It sounds too perfect. It needs some, you know.
Right, and like I said, that song was so hard to make, so much harder to make than a regular song because the AI wants to make a perfect sound, and you want, you know, the whistling and the vinyl cracking and the 4-track sounding and the, you know, like these guys recorded it in their garage. And believe it or not, that song there, it took one persona and 1,000-word prompt within that persona, because if I had just used the persona, and we're going to talk about personas here in a second.
Yeah.
If I had just used the persona of that AI artist, it would have sounded totally different. So a lot of people, they just rely on their persona, and I'm like, you know what? You could take that persona and manipulate the persona and make a totally different sound. And that's what I did with the Rump Puppy Skaters and Glass on the Beach. Like I said, if I used it again and just used what the persona gave me, you wouldn't have got none of that.
Okay, now that's the point where we pivot and we start talking about
Okay.
what is persona. That's the love for our listeners.
Personas are it's almost like a character you can create like you would do on a video game, and so to speak.
Right.
But it's a character a song character you can create within Suno that will allow you consistency in your output, you know, as far as making that artist sound the same every time. It used to be where before personas, you can use the same prompt and you could do it still. You could still get the same sound, but you may have to prompt it even more. And like they have a new version of personas now that'll hit more on your original recording. Like you make that one song and it sounds beautiful and you want to keep that song, keep that type of sound, you create a persona. And so then the AI says, okay, well, you'll keep this in the algorithm. So whenever you need it, I'll go get it, that artist, and bring it back and put it on the track that you want to put it on. And like myself, I have about 45, 50 personas, and yeah, I got a few, and some of them sound eerily close to an actual artist that, you know, your listeners
heard
may
before.
know that you've heard before.
Yeah.
But you can't do that in Suno by asking for a certain artist.
Right.
All you can do is describe the type of voice or music that you want, and it gives you what it gives you. But you got to remember it, you know, and this is the big hoopla on the whole AI music thing, is that they were trained on thousands of artists. So we're going to play a track a little bit later on. I hope that that you know your listeners might say, hey, that sounds a little familiar. But you can't do it. You can't mimic copyrighted music.
right.
Yes. Yeah. So
So the persona is just the voice sound of the artist, a sound of the voice, you know, what it sounds like.
a consistent
Consistent sound, right.
Consistent sound
Of the
artist.
same, you know, if it sounds like just, you know, I'll throw a name out there, Al Green, you know,
Right.
you know, then you want to have that Al Green sound, and you know, and that kind of brings up the point about AI movies too, because you know, now they have some lady who produced these 3 or 4 different movies and uses the same AI artist, and come to find out she's made up, and you know,
Right.
it's like, and selling movies.
Right.
And so,
And you know, the artists are the same way now. You know, you can actually write a whole album now with one artist. Before I was releasing singles, and if I got something really, really close to the original, I would just put it on their page and keep it moving. But now, if I wanted to create an entire album a little easier, it's a bit easier. Before I could do it either way, but now they make the end user they make it more and more simpler for first time users. You know, so
yeah, I know. You know, I talk about. So me, I'm a songwriter, and you know, I create my own music. I teach songwriting through Rancho Los Amigos, and I was talking to the students, and I was telling them, because they've had, you know, this guy, my mentor, Magic Marino. He's come to the class a few times, and I said, Magic called me up, and he was endorsing it. He said he had somebody who, you know, he's again, you know, he's big time. He used to be the lead singer for Treason back in the 70s or whenever it was, 80s, whatever. But he's into Hollywood and doing music for movies and all of this. When I told him, I said, he called me up and told me he was on the phone with songwriters that he know, and they was like, hey, you know, just give us a couple of lines or something, while he was listening on the phone, and they created a song just with the lines that he gave him. He said it was, I mean, he was totally impressed. He said, I couldn't believe it. So when he called me up and he's endorsing it, and you know, and I told them about it, you know, I've been telling the students, and they're like, wait a minute, I thought you were against AI. I said, well, you know, it wasn't that I was against it. I just didn't know what it could do. And I said, now with my mentor calling me up and endorsing it, I mean,
but there's been a history of people not liking new
well,
technology.
yes, actually.
You know, there's been drum machine ain't a real drummer.
Yeah, no, right there, drum machine. Let me tell you what. You know, go ahead. You know, talk about it first.
And you know, like people get on people like what's the guy's name, Timbaland, because and I seen all the flack Timbaland got from the whole music industry, because he was one of the first on board to endorse Suno. And while everybody was just, I mean, major producers was just giving him crap about it. They was just giving him crap about it. Me, myself, I looked at it and I was like, he's genius. He's genius. You know, if you ever seen the movie Ray, with Jamie Foxx, you've seen that, right?
Great. Oh, yeah.
Now, you remember the scene when they were in the studio and the girls were drunk and he kicked all the girls out, and then his engineer played back and he said, whoa, what is that? What is that? And they said, it's a new piece of equipment we got. It's called an 8-track or 4-track, whatever it was back then.
Right, they had recorded it.
Yeah. And before you knew it, he's like, okay, well, let's finish the recording. He said, well, you can't, Ray. You kick the girls out. He said, I'll do all the voices. So what Ray Charles did was he embraced that technology immediately. Like, he didn't give it a second thought. This is going to help me make music easier. This is going to help me make music if I have to on my own. You know, I mean, you look at people like Prince, who played 20 plus different instruments, that give him a studio and the equipment, and Prince would put out a whole album within a day. You know what I mean? And I don't know if Prince would be for or against this. God rest his soul.
Well, you never know.
You never know. You never know. But one of the things I don't think people have come to realize yet is that, you know, even though he has a lot of unreleased tracks, what if you trained an AI to do just Prince? Then you could break Prince songs for forever. And a lot of people are like, oh, no, because it ain't really Prince. But in a way, it really is Prince. Because if it's all his work collaborated to the point where new stuff could be made, then he will make money for his estate for forever.
Yeah, you know, and so, you know, to flip back to the I mean, it's blowing up. I mean, that's the bottom line. To flip back to the drum machine. So, of course, you know, I have this band per se, and I was playing. I played a track for the guys. You know, there are three of us. You know, and we've been using drum machines forever. You know, for our gigs. You know, we've had real live drummers and bass players, and you know, like any band, they come and they go. They they have their own whatever. So I played this track, and one of the guys like, wait a minute. He said, but that's like cheating. I said, well, okay. I said, hold up now. I said, now we use drum machines. I said, and we use drum machines to record our first CD, The Roads. And when we went to play live, people said, you sound just like the CD because we use the drum machines, when we didn't have the live bass player or the drummers, but we had to tell the drummers, you have to play like this. This is what
Right.
it sounds like. And so I said, so when drum machines came out, people were like, drum machines don't have soul and this and that and all of that. And I said, you're using a drum machine and he said, yeah, I know, but what if you want to do that? I want to create that. I said, you can do all of that. But he's like, I said, hey, you know what? Even one of the guys that was in my class, Thursday I saw him and he had a song. He says, and I took some lyrics and put them in the Suno and he created the music. He said, this is like great. I said, and he made a song about the negative effect of AI. I said,
Right.
well, so much, that didn't take long. So
I mean, honestly, and I've listened to a lot of music all my life, and I've been managers of artists. I've worked everything in music you can imagine. I've been a manager at a record store. I've had a couple of artists that I was helping. Honestly, it's making better music than 90+% of the producers out there. It really is. I mean, you can't, even if you could compete with the arrangement, there's no way you can compete with the production. Because we can say we're going to have a competition here, and I'm going to sit across the table from a great producer, and I need you to do blah, 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 and y'all going to have a competition. By the time he's done with one song, I'm done with 200.
yeah, all right. No, I believe
Can't
it.
compete with that. How can you compete
And
with
that's my thing. Me being a songwriter, it's like okay, because when I started off songwriting, I had a 26-track Porter Studio, so I would go and create music using the keyboard that went into the recorder. One track at a time. The drums, the bass. I wasn't good at playing guitar and piano. So I did what I could. I put it together. I got the guys together. They come in and play guitar. They play whatever they did. They use the drum machines, and that was a lot. And then
Right.
that was when CDs were still.
Right. And people don't understand some of the hardest things about making music is getting a bunch of musicians together to make the music.
Exactly.
You're dealing with attitudes, you're dealing with all kinds of stuff to get people in the studio. But the emerging new artists are prompt engineers. The emerging new artists are poets, slam poetry. People who love the human language are the new artists, so to speak. Influencers are going to be the new artists because they're going to stop using certain music that they use and then have their own. And then I think it's going to expand even more, to that might be for a whole nother show on the expansion of AI and what it means in the future. But for now, a lot of, Zanaya Monet, she's a new artist that, I don't think Hallwood signed I Am Oliver. And then Zanaya Monet was signed too. Well, she's a poet. She writes poetry. And now she's an artist. And I'm not trying to knock them, but when I listen to their music, when I listen to Sadie Winters or Russ, what was the number one country song right now? For me, me having an AI-tuned ear, they all sound AI to me. Now, most people may not, but they sound AI to me. And if you have a chance like I Am Oliver, I mean, and I'm not knocking these people because they make sales, and it makes you understand that hits aren't grown organically like a lot of people think. There's a method to the madness to getting them out there.
You know what? If you got one more song, let's play like 2 minutes of or something, and we can come back, and then we're gonna have to close out. So,
Okay, yeah, I got you. So
what's this song about? Real quick.
This song right here, I have two songs. I wish we could play them both, but you can look them up if you want. One's by Solomon Box, and it's called Every Love Song in One. And I actually wrote that song 20 years ago, and trying to bring it to light was going to be a problem because the song includes a lot of artists that we wanted to use samples from. You know, that would have been a nightmare. The clearance and the money it would have taken. It's like, it's not going to happen.
So you want to play this song now?
I think I want to play that song because it has a real 80s Brian McKnight feel to it.
Okay.
And it's really personal to me. And Brian McKnight, I don't know if you're listening or not, this is your song that you should write, you would have written for your wife. And it's called Every Love Song.
Every Love Song. Just give us like 2 minutes, Joe, so we can come back and, close out before it's, we'll make sure we have enough time. So.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, oh, oh. To send you a love song to express my feelings for you. My love, I knew you were the one the day I stepped to you. In the record store trying to find the right one to tell you how I feel. I could not find a single one that said everything. The love for you is unreal. So I grabbed my pen and pad to try to have some fun and realize something very special. You're every love song in one. You got that Frankie and his happy feelings and a lot of that Marvin because of your sexual healing. All of Larry 'cause you're one in a million too. Every bit of Lenny because I love you. Baby, you know by the time I'm done, I'll show you your every love song in one. The love you whisper to the radio and turn my gray skies blue. You walk like harmony in motion. You laugh a hook I can't unhear. Every time I try to write love down, it's your voice that reappears. You got that Frankie and his happy feelings and a lot of that Marvin because of your sexual healing. All of Larry 'cause you're one in a million too. Every bit of Larry because
All right. How much time we have here, Joe?
you got that Freddie 'cause you are.
Okay, so we got a little less than, we got about 4 minutes. So let's, that's a great sound. It's like I hear it.
Yeah.
I can kind of hear the combination of what you were talking about and all, and that's great.
Right. And it was perfect that it was able to arrange it the way that it was arranged because, once again, I was trying to put together a song and you want to try to get Lenny Williams, I Love You in the back. But when it was all said and done, and if you listen to the entire song, at the end it says, I got to be like Brian and start back at 1. So that's why I thought it was a great Brian McKnight song. And I think this is where it's going to lead to when it comes to production. It's going to come to whereas if you don't have a great prompt engineer on your Rolodex to come into your studio and make certain sounds that you need to, make a track come to that next level, then you're going to kind of be behind, So, people like Hallwood, if you're listening, I'm available, if you're,
So if people need to get in touch with you, you got some information and you want to, or should they call me? Or,
they can call the station. My number, 562-952-8543. Look up my channel and you'll see a lot of the tracks. If you look up any of the artists that we mentioned, Noah Tide, Solomon Vox.
What's your channel? Tell people what your
Off
channel.
the Deep End Records.
Off the Deep End Records.
I have 2 channels. One's Off the Deep End Records and the other's Off the Deep End Productions. My production channel is more for sync doing things commercially, like if you
Right,
got
right.
a food truck and you want your own tracks. I do for a couple of people, Miso Fishy LA, Instagram. I've done tracks for them. Sesh Clothing, I've done tracks for them, and that's what it's going to really come down to is
And that's what I'm kind of dipping into the jingles and the brand
sync.
market. You know,
Yeah, sync.
You know, that's
Sync.
you know, there's
Definitely.
money in that to be made without a whole lot of work.
Right, exactly. Now, you know, if you're a studio that's making movies, you can bring in a prompt artist into the cutting
Right.
floor. You don't have to go out and do the whole sync thing like you want to. You can bring a guy in. He's looking at what you're trying to project to the public, and then he creates something on the fly right then and there.
Right.
You know, for a movie or anything of that nature. So
Yeah.
yes.
So well, that's great. You know, again, we're gonna give our endorsements up here. You know, that's one. You know, this is great conversation. I'm talking
Thank you for
Charles
having me.
Whitehead, and this is Will Hill, and we're over here at KCAA Radio, of course, the station that leaves no listener behind. And we just want to tell people, you know, this is what it's about right here. You know, we talk past, present, and future, and we are looking at the future.
Big
You
future.
know, and there is no hiding. You know, of course, you know, I'm a songwriter, and I have to give it up for Rancho Los Amigos. I have to give it up for YouTube Mobility, my friends over there that are endorsing, you know, and help me out with my wheelchair needs. And then I'm going to be having an organization that I'll be supporting, and you know, we just called there the Veterans Relief Foundation. So when I come back here next time, I'll be talking about some of those things and who we are. And so again, we want to give it up to our engineer Joe, who does a great job.
Thank you, Joe. Thank
We're
you.
gonna see you guys in a couple weeks
All right.
or so.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Cool Veteran Hour.
Yes, sir.
A journey of 1,000 words begins here. KCAA.
I was out working, a car out of the blue crossed the center line and crunched me. There was nothing I could do. Everybody thinks that they can do their own attorney, but you can't. There's too many legal hoops, there's too many options.
Insurance companies love taking advantage of people who try to handle their cases alone. Seriously injured? Call Konowski Bresny. We get your worth.
I'm very happy with the result. I don't think any other attorney could have done a better job.
Call Konowski Bresny at 888, the letter U, count and the number 2, or see me on the web at bresnylaw.com.
SoCal moves fast. Your business should too. If you're not on the first page of search results, you're losing customers. iLocal has helped businesses in SoCal dominate search results since 2009. Get a free site analysis for a limited time. iLocal. SoCal businesses start here. Get found. Be chosen. Call 310-870-3331. That's 310-870-3331. Or visit ilocal.net/SoCal. That's ilocal.net/SoCal.
Rescue Residence reminds area employers that too often our veterans and their spouses have trouble finding jobs. If you're an employer, join in on supporting our transitioning military service men and women. Bring elite skills, agility, and mission dedication to your organization. Hire smart and hire vets. That's from Rescue Residence in 29 Palms, where they are on the air supporting our veterans.